Kirkwood, Missouri was officially founded in 1853 after a few businessmen banded together and sold parts of the land to surrounding families in the area. This town thrived after the railroad was constructed and continues to thrive today with a population of 27,540 people. From the Magic House to the Amtrak station to Mudd's Grove, this town has an enormous amount of historical significance. Kirkwood is located within a half an hour of UMSL's campus, one of the reasons we chose this town.
This is St. Peter's Cemetery, which was built in 1832 before the city of Kirkwood was even established. It was built as the church for the new St. Peter's Parish that was being founded. Because this parish was founded in 1833, it is the third oldest parish in the St. Louis area. The old cathedral is the only other parish building older than the St. Peter's Cemetery. After the city of Kirkwood was established in 1853, St. Peter's Parish moved to a church that was more centrally located, but they continued to use a section of the original property for burials. Because of this cemetery is the oldest active Catholic cemetery in St. Louis City or County.
Thanks to the purchase of land by the Pacific Railroad in 1852 and the subsequent building of the railway, Kirkwood became the first planned suburb west of the Mississippi. The original train station was built of wood in 1863, but was later replaced with the current stone building in 1893. Since then, the Kirkwood station has been in operation of transporting commuters and supplies alike. In 2002, Amtrak was on the verge of closing the Kirkwood station as part of cost-cutting efforts. The city of Kirkwood, not wanting to lose a crucial part of its history, negotiated with Amtrak to purchase and staff the station and has done so since April 2003. The station is completely staffed by volunteers who, although are not able to sell tickets or collect any form of payment, are happy to help guests and answer questions related to the destination of places in historic Kirkwood. In October 2004, Amtrak recognized the efforts of the Kirkwood Station volunteers with its Champion of the Rails Award, which is the only Amtrak non-employee award presented nationwide and is now on permanent display in the Kirkwood train station.
This is Mudd's Grove, which is in the National Register of Historic Places. This stately red brick Greek revival home was built in 1859, 6 years after the city of Kirkwood was established. Its name comes from Henry T. Mudd, who purchased the house and surrounding acres in 1866. His family started a fruit grove on the property, which is where the name comes from. Mudd was a very important and influential man at the time, while also having the misfortune of being the cousin of Dr. Samuel Mudd, who was convicted as a conspirator in the Lincoln assassination. During Mudd's time serving in the state legislature, he helped frame the Missouri Constitution of 1875. He was also an important piece of the successful separation of the city of St. Louis from the county. An interesting fact for UMSL students is that he was also the curator of the University of Missouri. After switching hands a few times throughout the years, the house was finally made the museum home of the Kirkwood Historical Society in 1992 and still maintains the name of Mudd's Grove in honor of its first resident. This limestone Gothic Revival church is the Elliott Unitarian Chapel, which was originally Grace Episcopal Church. It was built in 1860, only 7 years after the city of Kirkwood was founded, and is now in the National Register of Historic Places. It is the earliest surviving Kirkwood church and was constructed for $12,000. That may not seem like a lot now, but it took the parish 24 years to pay off the debt. A fire caused severe damage to the church in 1914, but they rebuilt it according to the original plan. When Grace Church built a new building in 1960, this church was sold and became the Elliott Unitarian Chapel. Since then, there have been alterations and additions to the building, but the original main stone structure remains. That is the part of the building that is locally designated as a landmark.
This is the Couch Heiselman store building, which is located at 157 West Argonne Drive. The
The wooden lap-sided building was constructed around 1878 and was used as an upholstery, wallpaper, and paint store by the owner, George Couch, who was also the original owner of the Couch House, another historical landmark in Kirkwood. In 1899, after a large fire, Leo Heiselman moved his bakery from its location across the street and expanded his business to include a grocery, meat, and drugstore. The Heiselman family sold the building in 1962. Over the years, the building has been home to a men's clothing shop, a laundromat, a furniture store, a finer food store, a gift shop, and an antique store. The building was renovated in 2010 and is now the location of Clay & Cotton Clothing Boutique.
In 1892, a real estate agent by the name of Elsie E. Meacham purchased land in Kirkwood, Missouri. Meacham purchased 158.61 acres for $3,308, selling a majority of the land, which were 25-foot lots, to African Americans. Over time, Meacham began to make the lots smaller to earn more money than normal. They ranged from $15 to $65 per lot. After World War II, many African Americans came up from the South and settled in Meacham Park. After the 1930s, there were many racial issues present within the community that Kirkwood tried to stop. A major aspect of these issues was that the African American children were forced to go to the Turner School, while the white children attended the Jefferson School. When it was first established, Meacham Park was not a part of Kirkwood officially. In 1991, Meacham Park became a part of Kirkwood and now holds a Target, Walmart, a hospital, and Lowe's.
Rudolph Heinzelman opened this building as a bakery in 1875. It's located at 150 through 156 West Argonne Drive. Leo Heinzelman took over after Rudolph, his father, died in 1896. In 1899, the bakery caught fire. After this, Leo decided to renovate the building with a cast iron and wood facade. This is the building that remains today. The building itself is unique in the fact that it was built having to fit an odd-shaped lot between West Argonne Drive, the train tracks, and the Clay Avenue Bridge. In the late 1980s, the current owners, the Swobodas, added a caboose to the store, which is called Down by the Station. A third reason this building is unique, although it's really no competition, is that this is the only building left in Kirkwood that displays a cast iron facade. The shop itself seems quite crowded, but besides the merchandise, it's because it isn't that wide. It's really long though. There's the main entryway, there's a room to the right, which isn't filmed here, a room to the left, and the caboose, which is attached to the left room.
The Wisconsin House, located on 415 Scott Avenue, was constructed in 1904. This house was used as a lodge for those who visited the Louisiana Purchase Exposition at the World's Fair in St. Louis. After about 2 years or so, the house was moved from Forest Park to Kirkwood. As you can see in this photo, many believe that the tracks that were located directly across from the Wisconsin House were used to transport the house by a flatbed railroad car. The Wisconsin House won an award due to the belief that it was the ideal home during that time period. The house was restored and is currently a private residence consisting of 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, multiple sitting rooms, and various other rooms. In 1997, the house was on sale for $329,000.
This is the old Firehouse Building Number 1, which is located at 123 West Argonne Drive. Kirkwood had a volunteer fire department since a fire had destroyed the town armory on April 30th of 1904, the opening day of the 1904 World's Fair. However, by 1917, the Kirkwood Volunteer Fire Company had realized that Kirkwood desperately needed a dedicated fire department that received paid wages. To force a decision, in February of 1918, the volunteers announced that they were going to disband in April and strongly urged the creation of a paid fire department. The authorization to create a paid fire department and to build a firehouse was passed at a Kirkwood town meeting shortly thereafter. The construction of the mission-style firehouse was completed in 1920. The building was in use as a firehouse until the mid-1960s and now lodges the Messenger Printing Company, yet the location of the large firehouse door is still discernible, and the Firehouse Number 1 emblem remains on the facade at the top of the building.
The building that the Green Parrot restaurant was in has been around since 1915 when it was a house built by William Bopp. In 1922, it was renamed the Big Bend Inn and was rumored to be a speakeasy with secret passages and all. In 1927 in Kansas City, the first Green Parrot restaurant opened. The Bopp House was sold to the owners of the original Green Parrot restaurant who were looking to expand. Although they weren't sure if they'd get the traffic for it, they proceeded to purchase the house and the 10-acre property because the scenery was gorgeous. This scenery being the Missouri foothills and the Missouri River Valley where, in the 1930s, the land was undeveloped. On October 8, 1938, after being renamed to the Green Parrot Inn, the restaurant opened and it became known for its fried chicken and honey butter. Why was it called the Green Parrot? Because of the parrot who would greet patrons before their meal. She died at the age of 74 in 1983, just before the restaurant was sold. That same year, it was sold to the Weinhardt Catering and Party Rentals and became Big Bend Manor. In 2001, it was renovated for private residence and has been occupied since 2005.
This is the old post office building, which is located at 125 West Argonne Drive, next to the old Firehouse No. 1 building, and across the street from the train station. Before the year 1900, residents of Kirkwood had to pick up their mail from various locations in the area. It was not delivered to their home. In 1900, home delivery was established for part of the town, but until 1903, most Kirkwood residents still had to pick up their mail from the post office. The neoclassical-style post office was constructed in the 1930s in response to the growing number of residents in the Kirkwood area. Today, the post office building is home to Great Harvest Bread Company.
The Meacham Park School was opened in Kirkwood in 1924. In 1932, this school was renamed to the Turner School to commemorate a slave born in St. Louis. James Milton Turner was born a slave, but his father paid for his freedom. Later on in his life, he became the first African American to represent the United States as a U.S. representative in a foreign country. The Turner School was the last school built in the St. Louis area to teach African American students before desegregation. Children from surrounding districts were bused to this school after the nearby Booker T. Washington School was shut down. The Turner School was torn down and rebuilt, going from a wood to a brick structure in the late 1930s to early 1940s. The school was eventually sold to an investment company in the 1980s and still stands today. The Turner School is currently located in Meacham Park.
This is the old gas station building, which is located at 140 West Argonne Drive. The brick gas station's dimensions are 12 by 16 feet. The gas station was built in 1932 by D. Rue Weber and is one of the first gas stations built in St. Louis County. When the gas station closed in 1943, possibly due to gas rationing during World War II, the building remained vacant until the end of 1946. From 1947 to 1970, the building was used as a cab stand for the Victoria Cab Company. Between 1970 and 1974, the building stood vacant and fell into a state of severe disrepair. In 1974, it was finally renovated by a partnership between 11 different Kirkwood area garden clubs as part of a civic beautification effort and was turned into a community garden center. Since 1987, it has been the home of Jeremiah's Custard Stand, which is an extremely popular tourist hangout.
This landmark is located on 223 South Kirkwood Road, but even with that address, first guessers may not correctly identify what the landmark is. Instead of a building, the landmark is actually the Spencer's Grill sign attached to the restaurant, located above the street. In 1939, it was attached to the original Spencer's Grill and has been hanging there ever since. The main body of the sign is brick red, while the lettering is white. There's also a clock on the sign. Everything is outlined in neon tubing. The sign is the same on the back and the front. As you can see, even though it has changed hands over the years, currently the building is Spencer's Grill. While the setting is crowded, everybody there is really relaxed, even when having to wait on a table to clear up. The food was amazing. Breakfast and lunch are served from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day for really great prices.
Located in downtown Kirkwood, the market was founded in 1976 as a bicentennial project by the city of Kirkwood. Open from April through December, the market offers a place for the community to gather, eat, and shop. Currently, the market has turned into a Christmas market and gingerbread shop. Everything you need to decorate your home for the holidays can be found, including a Christmas tree lot and the gingerbread shop, where you will find plenty of holiday treats, including hot cocoa mixes, baked goods, jams and jellies, ornaments, and other holiday novelties. Founded by Jody Newman and Barbie Freund, two St. Louis women who volunteered 3 years of their time to create a cultural institution that would be both educational and fun, the Magic House officially opened its doors to the public October 16, 1979. The location selected for the region's first interactive children's museum was a vacant Victorian mansion built in 1901. Since its opening, the Magic House has been engaging children of all ages in activities that are not only entertaining, but aimed towards learning as well. In 2005, Zagat's U.S. Family Travel Guide deemed the house as the nation's best children's attraction, even beating out Disney's The Magic Kingdom. Being a not-for-profit organization, the Magic House does not receive funding from tax revenue. In all the years of its existence, this is the first year that the house reported having no money in the bank.